Very, very interesting. So is this how Trump is going to change the dinar rate? Let's talk about this a little bit. All right. First, I want to thank, I hope I say your name right. My apologies if I don't. Carissa Barrett brought my attention to a video that was discussing the Treasury's proposal, the Trump administration's proposal to stimulate the economy, the new stimulus package. It's a stage three in what it is they plan to do to help get the economy to rebound after we get through this coronavirus fiasco. But what I'm about to show you might make you question what's really going on out there, right? So first again, let me quickly remind everybody, if you haven't already joined our Facebook group, it's free. It's Pimpy's Investment Chat. I encourage you to do so. The link is in the description, all right? Okay, real quick. So in the video, this guy is discussing the stage three proposal. This is what the government is going to try to use to help get the economy kickstarted again once this whole coronavirus fiasco takes place. He's going through here and he talks about this portion of it. Of course, it grabs my attention. The appropriation to the Exchange Stabilization Fund for specified uses. Okay, and it goes in here, kind of lays out how they're going to do this. Okay, so down here, part 2, temporarily permit use of the Exchange Stabilization Fund to guarantee money market mutual funds. It goes on, it talks about the effects it's going to have and how this is going to work. Except for the thing that kept coming to my attention was this exchange stabilization. So, of course, I went over here to look it up. The Exchange Stabilization Fund consists of 3 types of assets: US dollars, foreign currencies, and special drawn rights, which is an international reserve asset created by the International Monetary Fund. The ESF can be used to purchase or sell foreign currencies, to hold U.S. foreign exchange and special drawn rights assets, and to provide financing to foreign governments. All operations of the ESF require the explicit authorization of the Secretary of Treasury. They don't have to go through Congress to do this. The Secretary is responsible for the formalization and implementation of the U.S. international monetary and financial policy, including exchange market intervention policies. Now, the United States isn't the only government to have this similar type of thing. They have a similar type of exchange stabilization funds. And we're going to go over how this is being used here, okay? So anyways, it goes on, it gives you the history down here of what it's used for. But let's get to the bigger picture. Over here, this article, although it's from August of 2019, explains how the U.S. dollar interventions. Okay, so here we go, real quick. I want to go over this. The strength of the U.S. dollar has long been a thorn in President Trump's side. That has put almost unthinkable scenarios of currency intervention up for debate in global foreign exchange circles. Forcibly halting the U.S. dollar strength would be a drastic step, not deployed in more than 3 decades. The last big, concentrated effort to weaken the U.S. dollar was after the Plaza Accord of 1985, when 5 of the largest industrial countries agreed to act to bring down the value of the U.S. dollar. The most recent foreign exchange intervention by policymakers in development economies have been to address currencies getting out of whack from historical exchange rates, or to counter disorderly markets. Okay? Now, what I find interesting about this, and it makes you kind of question what's going on with the coronavirus is this part right here. Currency intervention refers to the practice of a country's monetary authority buying or selling their own currency in the foreign exchange market with a view to steering its value. Okay, so what they can use is this fund to help manipulate other currencies from other countries. That is to increase or decrease the value of another country's currency. Okay, this is usually done to curb, here I go, volatility and lend stability to a currency. A number of countries, including Japan, Switzerland, and China, have in the past intervened in currency markets. The United States' most recent intervention in currency markets was in 2011 when it joined other countries in a concentrated intervention to weaken the yen after the Japanese currency appreciated sharply following a massive earthquake in Japan. Okay, but here's the thing. So let's come down here. So here's my thing. There was an article I was reading in which these countries on more than one occasions used the manipulation of their currencies to bring down the US dollars. They've even used military actions to help try to weaken other countries' dollars. So here's my thought. If all of these countries are hurting in the foreign trade due to the strength of the US dollar, how desperate would countries get? What kind of lengths would they go through to try to weaken the dollar of other countries? Would they do something like spread a coronavirus? Because look what it's doing to the economies everywhere. In my opinion, this would put everybody on a level playing field. Everybody's economy is jacked right now. Everybody seems to be hitting in a very, very deep recession, if not a depression. So if everybody's on the same playing field, what does that mean about each country's currency? So here's what they're talking about. What are the main tools available to Trump? Exchange Stabilization Fund. Trump's biggest weapon is the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which is operated by the Secretary of Treasury with the approval of the President, without the need of approval of the legislative branch. It was created in the 1930s to stabilize the exchange value of the dollar. As of July 31st, the ESF it's actually higher than this now. All right. It has like, I believe, 140 billion in there, 150 billion in there. Trump's administration could deploy to buy and sell foreign currencies. That include 20.68 billion in foreign currencies, 50.49 billion in special drawing rights, 22.6 billion in U.S. government securities. Additional funds can be generated by warehousing, where the Fed and the United States Treasury swap foreign currency holdings. In addition to these funds, the Fed has traditionally matched Treasury's intervention funds. Okay? Thus, essentially doubling the Treasury's firepower. In principle, the Fed also extends its balance sheets beyond that to buy foreign assets, and other countries could agree to join the United States in this intervention. I've mentioned this in other videos. I felt like there was something going on. I don't know how to explain it, but the fact that Iraq pumped out 51 trillion dinars, 51 trillion dinars, and that the United States was holding somewhere approximately 10 to 15 trillion dinars, but not just them. Central banks everywhere were holding dinars. There was a ton of currency swaps taking place. In one of my videos, I showed an article in which I believe 36 countries did some kind of currency swap. So were they planning this? Is this their way of possibly doing a whole global currency reset? Would they go to such extremes to just get everybody on a level playing field? Maybe. I find it interesting that this coronavirus falls right on the heels of the China phase one deal being completed with the Trump administration in China. It's just really curious. For some reason, I have a feeling all this is tied into one another. If you come down here a little bit more, it talks about, I'll leave the link to this. You can read this. These are different things that Trump has the ability to do. So, is it possible that if countries can band together? I said this. I told you that maybe countries have some kind of agreement with the Iraq government or with at least the IMF and the CBI. And that is, you guys have 51 trillion in dinar. We need to kickstart our economies everywhere. We know that people around the world have invested in Iraqi dinar. We know that each country is holding Iraqi dinar. So you have to ask yourself, why? Remember that one video I said, why? Why the hell is there 51 trillion dinars out there? That doesn't make no sense. I don't understand why they felt the need to create 51 trillion dinars when their economy was struggling as bad as it was. There was low inflation, the interest rates were reasonable. There was no reason to be pumping out so much money, especially when in country they were using less than 5% of the currency, and less than 9% of the people in Iraq have banking accounts. So why did they need 51 trillion? I think this is all tied in. This is obviously a plan here, and this might be what they plan to do. These governments might have agreed that, hey, maybe if something happened that flattens out all of our economies, I know that might sound crazy and a little far-fetched, but I'm just saying, then each of them have this type of fund. It's a currency exchange stabilization fund. Each country, I told you this in a video, when the rate change happens in Iraq does not have to fork out all US dollars. As a matter of fact, the only people that they're going to need to deal with is their own people in country. That's going to increase their purchasing power. For those of us who have the Iraqi dinar, each country that we live in, their banks will deal with their citizens in their exchanges. So for us in the United, and I told you each country is going to have a different exchange because each currency has a different value, okay? Has a different purchasing power. So for all of us in the United States that hold the Iraqi dinar, when the rate change happens, we go to our local bank once the currency is recognized internationally. All right, we give it to our bank. Our bank gives us whatever the recognized exchange rate is. That's the money in our account. Then that bank turns around and makes its deal with our central bank, or I should say our Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve gets it and they hold it for whatever reason. All right, so if each government is funding this exchange rate, that's going to create a lot of very rich people. And I know you're out there going, why would the elites want to do that? Why would it? Because what do you think's going to happen once people get the money? I told you this already. There was an article about a man speaking in Davos. He was talking about when those people that became millionaires after the Kuwait dinar exchange rate took place. All of us know about what happened with the Kuwait dinar. A lot of millionaires were created. The article specifically talks about the guy literally is bashing, first of all, so-called dinar and Vietnam dong gurus. Go back to my past videos, you'll find it. I put the article up and I gave a link to it. The guy is bashing them, but then he turns around and says, now having said that, the gurus might have gotten two of these right, and that is the Vietnam dong and the Iraqi dinar. So he went on to just quickly talk about how they, the rich, the billionaires, benefited from a quick bump in the economy. Because what happened, and this is the thing that always sticks in my head, and it's kind of haunting. He said in less than 5 months, 86% of the millionaires that were created from the Kuwait dinar were flat broke. And then he went on to explain how they could benefit from such a bump in the economy and the market would go up. So when people go, well, those people, those elites or those globalists or those new world order people, they're not going to let a bunch of people a bunch of millionaires get created. Why wouldn't they? They know it's not going to last. They know that people are foolishly going to go out and screw their money off if they don't think wisely about how to manage it. All right? They know this is going to happen. They know the money's just going to turn around and come right back to them. All right? So, is that possible? Is that what's happening here? Are they going to use this exchange stabilization fund? Is this the excuse they need to do this? Is this what's going to happen? Is this how the rate change is going to take effect? And is this how it's going to be supported? Each country is going to be responsible for their own exchanges with their own citizen of the dinar. That is going to really just kickstart the economy. It's going to get the markets going again. There's going to be a lot of confidence, a lot of new jobs again. I think this is how it's going to be done. Smash the like button if you agree. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. I will leave the links to these articles for you to kind of mull over, all right? Talk to you later.